All right, welcome, friends. Well, we're still here in Vernal, Utah, after that wild approach with the inexplicable dual runways. I looked at some satellite imagery and also in the sim. There's definitely something going on at this airport that's beyond our need to discuss today. But anyway, we're going to take our full flight down to Bryce Canyon. Full flight Sunday, right? Full flight video. It's a Sunday. Let's do it. What do you say? Let's get right to it. Get right in the cockpit. Let's make our initial corrections that we always have to do. Zoom type manual. And hey, there's somebody on final. I wonder if he's landing on the wrong runway. Anyway, let's get started, shall we?
TAWS system test.
Cedar City radio says the November tree.
Cedar City? What?
Bravo, Charlie Echo ready to copy.
Cedar City? Did you hear that?
Cessna November tree 43 Bravo whiskey is cleared to Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure frequency is 125.575 squawk 7104.
12,000 feet.
Clearance 30 minutes from now.
So we'll go ahead and set 12,000 feet here on our altitude selector.
Cessna November tree 43 Bravo whiskey cleared to Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo Airport as filed.
BCE.
Climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure is 125.575 squawk 7104. Clearance point 30 minutes.
Got our APU at 100%. Let's do right engine.
Cessna tree Bravo whiskey readback is correct.
Set VS again at 3,500. Hear that engine coming up. Set our auto throttle to 195. Correct our speed bugs. 195. And VAP at 140. All on. Bearing 1 GPS. Okay. Get those lights on. Recognition and anti-collisions. The lights up in the cockpit a little bit so we can see better. Pushback happening or no? This guy right here you can see is landing exactly on the same runway that I landed on a few hours ago. Except he appeared, I don't know if he had the same problem I did, but he's landing on the correct runway. Where is he? I don't know, he's out there somewhere. So, you know, we're leaving from an uncontrolled airport, so we may have some of our usual bugginess that we've dealt with before. Right engine's good. Left engine. Fire that up. Get our pitot heat on. 200 miles down to Bryce. That should be about a half-hour flight. That would be my expectation. Hope springs eternal. I'm guessing we're probably not going to get pushback just because this is an uncontrolled airport. No tower. Probably no ground services. Zoom in here. It's all right. We can handle the taxi ourselves. Just curious about one thing. Ah, this is interesting. How are we supposed to get... Well, we're taking off to the south. But still, what would someone do if one had to take off to the north? I guess just taxi all the way down the runway and then turn around. Weird airport. Vernal's a weird airport, friends. Not your flaps. Those taxi lights on. Got both our engines going. Yes, we do. So let's turn off the APU. Whoops, did I just... Oh, look at this. I accidentally... Well, you got to be careful about that. Okay, APU's off. And I think we're good. I'm a little apprehensive about this whole takeoff from uncontrolled airport, but on occasion. All right. In such circumstances where we've taken off from an uncontrolled airport before, we've dealt with issues about the arrows on the ground not disappearing and distance markers not disappearing. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get going. Try not to kill this guy since we're not getting pushback. We don't really need pushback in this type of a situation. Runway 16. I mean, this is couldn't be. Oh, we do have arrows. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Couldn't be much of a shorter taxi. This is the same little sidewalk that we taxied on when we landed last time. There's still this weird runway, or quasi-runway, or I don't know what it is, with X's on it. This is not landable. Alright, you guys, this could be interesting. We'll see what happens. We'll announce that we're taxiing.
Kilo Victor Echo Lima traffic Cessna November 34 Bravo Whiskey is taxiing to runway 34 right.
34 right? Oh. Well, what do you know? We're actually presented with this exact problem I was commenting on. For whatever reason, I was under the impression we were taking off to the south. From the setup page, that was my recollection. But looking at the windsock over here, I guess we're going to do exactly what I...
Kilo Victor Echo Lima traffic Cessna November 34 Bravo Whiskey taking off runway 34 right departure to the west.
Okay, this is weird. It just announced takeoff from 34 right, but you got this runway number right in front of you, 16 left. So we need to taxi all the way down to the end and then turn around in order to be taking off from runway 34 right. But that does appear to be wind-wise. I guess it's the active runway. I'm going faster than I should just because I want to get to the other end of the runway. Alright. Let's not go crazy. Let's see. And how am I going to turn around? This is definitely the weirdest airport. One of the weirdest airports I've landed at in the sim. Okay, I don't know if we have a turnaround spot or not. We'll see that soon enough here on the MFD center screen there on the of the 3 screens there at the bottom. It's the middle one. There is no turnaround spot. Wow, what a weird runway. What a weird airport. Vernal. Note to self, do not return. Okay, so we're just going to turn around here so we can take off on 34 left like they want us to. Try to execute this left turn as effectively as possible. Oh, that went okay. Alright, there's 34 right. It's weird. 34 right, implying that there's a 34 left, even though the only other quasi-runway isn't listed as one and has X's all over it. Weird. Weird, weird. Okay. Let's get set up. Last but not least, we'll get our timer ready. Start that. We're going to have to use heading mode, but we'll sync our heading before we activate that. And let's go. Flaps are confirmed, 1 notch. And we're rolling. Let's go. Let's head down to Bryce. I'm going to hand fly this takeoff. Make a left turn. Airspeed's alive, 80 knots. $120. 130. And rotate. Positive rate, gear up. We're climbing.
Salt Lake Center Cessna November 34 Bravo was
Going right over to center.
5,900 feet for
Start making that left turn. Flaps in.
Cessna November 34 Bravo Whiskey, Salt Lake Center. Continue to mark tango uniform as planned. Altimeter tree 0.07.
Adjust the trim a little bit and we'll
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey climb.
activate
Maintain 14,000 feet.
autopilot and auto throttle. Activate FLC.
14,000 feet Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey.
I don't know what it's doing. Let's zoom out. Come on. Oh boy. Why is it turning right? Call me crazy, but wouldn't it make more sense to turn left? Oh boy. Oh boy. What you just cleared is 14,000? What in the world is going on? Oh, it's on heading mode! My fault! My fault! Remember how I synced the heading bug? There's the left turn. Remember how I synced the heading bug when we were lined up on the runway? And then we took off, but then I started to hand fly the left turn? Well, stupid me, when I engaged the autopilot, it reverted to that original heading bug setting. So that was completely my mistake. Ultimately, a mistake of little consequence, but still illustrative of the fact that, man, you really, there's a lot of little errors you can make. Landing lights.
Cessna Tree Bravo Whiskey climb and maintain flight level 240.
Up to 240s. That's a real whiskey.
Climb and maintain flight level 240.
We engage the FLC. 240s are, I think, is that what I said was our cruising altitude? I can't remember from the setup page if I said 240 or 260. We're not flying high today, or at least not that high. Not compared to what this airplane's usually used to. See us here. Zoom out. We're at 20 nautical miles right now on the MFD, so we'll use our range knob. Take it to 35. Okay. So here are we, headed towards this, and thus towards Bryce. Transition altitude, 18,000 feet. So we'll standardize our altimeter. 299ers 2. So we'll start making a right turn here in a moment as we begin to intercept that track course. It was clear skies when we landed today. It's obviously gotten a little cloudier since in the last few hours since we landed. Look at that. Sure the airplane's all properly configured. Auto throttle's coming back nicely. Flaps off. Speed brakes leave 0. Landing lights are off. And we're on track. Let's increase our speed. Try to make up for that slightly goofy takeoff. .330 right there in the red zone, short of the barber tape. Ah, it was 260. That's why I mentioned. Re-engage FLC. So it's such a short flight, right? 200 miles, 200 nautical miles. But we're climbing up to 26,000 in part because we took off from 5,200. Let's engage our bank limiter. In other words, the airport we took off from was 5,200 feet. So we didn't have as far to go to get up to a particular cruise altitude. And then the airport we're landing at, Bryce Canyon, it has an elevation of 7,590 feet. Now there's a little variable in all this, and that is that I purchased Bryce Canyon, a modified version of that airport from the Flight Simulator Marketplace for $12. The download seemed a little goofy, so I don't know if it actually installed or not. I guess the surest way to find out is just to fly to Bryce Canyon. Or in the alternative, to start myself off at Bryce Canyon, but I don't do the sim that way. I always fly from point to point and start up from wherever it is I last left off from wherever I landed last. So basically the only way to determine whether or not the Bryce Canyon software that I bought for the modified airport scenery, whether it actually works or not, was to fly to Bryce Canyon. Now I could have flown to Bryce Canyon from San Antonio, but it's Sunday and I wanted to do a full flight video. And I did not want to do a full flight video from San Antonio to Bryce Canyon because that would have been 2.5 hours. See how the airplane's wobbling left and right? I can't tell whether that's the oscillation bug or not, but there's ways around that. Show you our 182 miles right now. Probably be there in about, I don't know, 37 minutes. Show you the approach here that we're doing. Flying KVEL was where we took off from. Vernal. Flying Southwest. That was funny. I initially copied the flight plan down incorrectly and had copied it as, instead of OMUSE or OMUS, OMUCE, I wrote it down as OMUSE. And when I entered that flight plan into ForeFlight, OMUSE is somewhere in West Virginia. So needless to say, I noticed I needed to correct my notation in order to make sure that we weren't going off on a wild goose chase. Yeah, you see how the airplane's kind of rocking left and right? So the way I deal with that, if it doesn't settle down, is to engage the HDG button. Sync it first, of course. And now it'll settle down. The only difference is you now have to kind of babysit it to make sure that you, I'll show you, stay on track. This magenta line needs to stay aligned with this magenta arrow up here and this magenta line. You can already see very, very slightly, barely visible, that it's drifting very slightly to the right. But we'll monitor that. Up at 26,000 feet now. As we fly over northeastern Utah, headed southwest to Bryce Canyon. Lots to see in Bryce Canyon. Probably not so much from the longitude. We'll probably rent a 172. Not today, I'm guessing. Maybe tomorrow. Pretty close to the Grand Canyon. And of course all these stunning, beautiful national parks. Yeah, it really illustrates just how vast this part of the country is. Just goes on in every direction. So we're actually flying just beneath these clouds. It's 35 degrees, negative 35 degrees Celsius outside. I don't anticipate icing, but we're just skirting the underside of these clouds up here at 26,000 feet. Check the weather at Bryce Canyon. 61 degrees right now in Vernal. But in Bryce, ooh, a little chop. In Bryce Canyon, it's 55 degrees, listed as sunny. Winds are out of the south in real life, and we're landing on runway 21. 133 decimal niner, Cessna 3 whiskey. Yeah, we're getting some chop. I don't know if you can see us bouncing around a little bit.
Salt Lake Center, Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey Flight Level 260.
Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey Salt Lake Center. Continue to Papa Uniform Charlie as planned.
Papa Uniform Charlie. Puke. Continue to puke as planned. So, we'll switch over here on the... oh, God. Wow. Resets. Anyway, let's switch over to Mach. 0.77. I think we can do better than that. Take up to 0.8. I know we're at 26,000 feet. I know. You don't have to say anything. But I still think we can squeeze 0.8 Mach. Normally cruise about 0.83. But that's up when we're up at 45,000 feet, so. Bouncing! Look at this! Got ourselves some turbulence up here today. It's kind of hazy. Anyway, but remember earlier I said that when we switched to HGG mode, it's useful because you don't get the annoying roll back and forth, but you can drift a little bit off of your track. Well, that's what I mean. See how that magenta line there has drifted a little bit to the right? That means that our ideal track course is slightly right of us. But we're just about to puke. There we go. So I'll re-engage nav. That'll line us back up. And then we'll re-engage the HCG if we start rolling left and right. Yeah, it's hazy up here.
Salt Lake Center Southwest 254. You're down at flight level 380 for 11,000 feet.
Southwest. Red Belly Bomber.
Southwest 254 Salt Lake Center. Continue as planned.
Destination ASOS is 135.475, says Betty. Meaning this is another untowered airport. Hopefully they don't have some sort of weird runway issues like Vernal did. Zoom in here on our MFD. There's K-Puke, whatever airport that is. It is... trying to read it here. Carbon... Good grief. I'm trying to use the... ForeFlight app, but it's obscured. Carbonville, Utah. All right, works for me. So 128 miles, 127 miles out. Looks like we still got a little roll, but this is going to have to probably be another one of these. Well, it will. It's not probably. It will have to be a tower-free, ATC-free final approach. Like last time where we got this sort of weird quasi-handoff to no one. Wow. I don't know. What do you think? Should there be more snow? I kind of think there should. $120. So at 120 miles out, normally you'd expect to be what? At 36,000 feet. We're at 26,000 feet because it's such a short flight. At 26,000 feet, I'd expect us to start getting descent instructions probably at about 87 miles out. But the airport's at 7,000 feet. 7,590 feet, actually. Which means that we don't have as far to travel, time-wise, altitude-wise, in order to get to the airport. So I would not expect us to begin getting descent instructions at the usual distances, in this case of 87 miles out. Because the airport's much higher than that. So I'd expect us to probably get descent instructions maybe 63 miles out. We're going to find out here in a minute. Hopefully the RNAV works. As I said, or I think I said, here's the approach path to runway 21, RNAV runway 21. You see BEAB right here? B-E-Y-A-B. Need to be at 12,800 feet there. Then it's 6.6 miles from BEAB to Hickmoo. At Hickmoo, we should be at 12,000 feet. There's only an 800-foot difference between BEAB and Hickmoo, even though they're 6.5 miles apart. And then Zugov, which is right there, we should be at 11,600 feet. Then it's another 5 kilometers to Cunha, where we need to be at 10,700 feet. Then it's another 6.7 miles from Cunha to Wabno, where we need to be at 8,580 feet. And then from Wabno to the airport is 3.1 nautical miles. So informative. Boy, keep the seatbelts on. This is choppy air. $99 miles out now. Closing in fast. Start slowing. Switch over to knots units. I'm going to have to do that zoomed in because it's too bouncy. Set at 320. Again, 26,000 feet, which is the functional equivalent of 19,000 feet, because the airport's at 7,000, would mean we'd expect descent instructions at 63 miles out. We're 94 miles out, bouncing around quite a little bit. Over the great northeastern portion of mostly empty Utah. Down to 12,000. So we got that at 61 mile or 91 miles out.
12,000 feet Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey.
So I would have expected that quite so soon. 33.6. That's the real whiskey. You get
133.6 Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey.
What'd she say? 12, right?
Salt Lake Center Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey is at flight level 260, descending 12,000
Yes,
feet.
down to 12,000.
Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey Salt Lake Center continue as planned.
Whew. Just realized we're not descending. I entered the new altitude, but descend at 1,500 feet per minute. Take a look. Descending 1,500 feet from 25,800 feet, or flight level 258, down to 12,000 at 1,500 feet per minute. As the setting and the actual descent rate, pretty much consistent with that. Current altimeter 202 because of our altitude. All lined up here. So no issues there. Not using the HDG mode anymore.
Salt Lake Center Southwest 254 is out of flight level 380 for 11,000 feet. Southwest 254 Salt Lake Center continue as planned.
Southwest, what did you say, 254? Southwest 254. We'll see what is FlightAware say about flight Southwest 254. Just curious. FlightAware. South SWA 2, what did he say? She say? 254, yes. That plane right now in real life is going from Denver, Colorado to Sacramento, California. It is en route and on time. Hour and 12 minutes since they left Denver. About the same amount of time to go. $22,500. 70 miles out. Again, normally at 70 miles, you'd want to be at 21,000 feet. You say, wait, you're at 22,000 feet. Aren't you too high? No.
Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey, you are 63 miles northeast. Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect RNAV runway 21 approach via Omuse transition. Clear to Omuse.
All right.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Expect RNAV runway 21 approach via Omuse transition cleared to Omuse system.
There's Omuse, and we're cleared to Omuse. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Here's Omuse, right there. 63 miles out, they said. That's consistent with my FlightAware app. All right, well, 320 knots indicated. 21,000 feet, descending 1,400 feet per wind. 14.6 nautical miles from Ormuz, specifically 2 minutes 12 seconds. Winds are 36 knots coming straight at us. I am curious as to whether or not the scenery upgrade I bought works or not. That'd be kind of cool if it did, but if not, oh well. It happens. I'd also be very happy to know if the RNAV is going to work this time. It did work when we landed at Vernal, but just for a non-existent runway. Ended up not being a huge deal just because it was such a clear day. But that could be a real problem in bad weather.
Generic 0 Quebec Sierra, contact Salt Lake Center on 133.0.
0 Quebec Sierra. I wonder where he's going. 19,000 feet, 54 miles.
133.9, generic 0 Quebec Sierra.
Those of you following along, you assume 50 miles, you want to be at 15,000 feet. But when the airport elevation is at 7,500 feet, you must take that into consideration. So if you assume we're at 18,000 feet right now and 50 miles out exactly.
Nearest altimeter 3016.
Nearest altimeter at Bryce is 3016. We'll see if that's right in just a second. Anyway, what I was going to say was 18,000 feet at 50 miles out, you'd think, doesn't that mean that you're 3,000 feet higher than you need to be? No, again, because the airport's at 7,000 feet, so you really should be at 22,000 feet. But it's fine. We're looking good. We'll be on the ground here in about 12 minutes. Start slowing. I really would like to rig the FMS, to figure out the FMS enough to allow it to do the speed management itself instead of me having to do it. But turn off the bank limiter. Nearest altimeter is 3016. Let's see if that's true. 29 or 9 or 6. Interesting. Off a little bit. 0.2 of an inch. All right. 40 miles out, 15,000 feet. Normally at 40 miles out, you'd want to be at 12. We're at 15.5, so we're 3,500 feet below where we need to be, which is fine. I'll shallow out the descent rate a little bit. But when it sounds like a lot. Oh my gosh, we're 3,500 feet lower than we should be. Well, we're not. We're following ATC's instructions. So don't read into it too much. I'm just saying, to the extent that you would compare this to a airport approach at sea level, it is different. I don't know what airspeed just jumped back up to 300, or maybe I don't know. That was a little weird. It's okay though. Set it at 280 as we close in on 10,000 feet. But remember, this airport is at 7,600 feet, so I have my hazard. Don't I have my hazard? Checking my 4-flight app. Hazard advisor. Okay, I activated my hazard advisor on 4-flight just to... Not that I'm going to need it. I mean, it's a clear day. But I'd like to... You know, we're flying into a mountainous area. I don't want to deal with any nonsense. But with this kind of weather, a child could land this plane. 13,300. We should get further descent instructions. Come on. Had to fix the altimeter. Now it is 3016. See? Anyway, I had to fix the altimeter because the ATC didn't know we were as low as we were. Failure to correct that altimeter had us off by about 200 feet. Just enough to get noticed. You got a right turn coming up.
Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey descend and maintain 12,000 feet.
Down to 12,000. That's the Bravo Whiskey.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet, Cessna 3 Bravo.
Ooh, coming in over these ridge lines. That's sweet. Not getting anything though on the hazard advisor. Coming up on BAB. Yeah, there's the right turn. And keep in mind, once we make this right turn, we're on final. Okay, there's that right turn. Let's keep slowing. 23 miles out.
Salt Lake Center Delta 1415, visit flight level 370,
Looking good.
11,000 feet.
Slow to 240.
Delta 1415 Salt Lake Center.
20 miles out now. We'll get the landing lights on.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Let's go ahead and
gear.
deactivate auto
Landing
throttle
gear.
just to shut him up. Which is sad that we have to do that, but let the airplane slow down. Yeah, coming in right over these ridge lines. That is sweet looking. Oh, nice. Really cool. Slowing. I'll just set it at 180. Even though we don't have auto throttle engaged. Wait till it gets close to that. 33 minutes, 54 seconds into this flight. Landing lights are already on. I've almost forgot. Look at that. Woof. Nice. Alright, re-engage the auto throttle. It's at 175. Get ready to do a notch of flaps. There we go. Notch of flaps. Runway should be in front of us. Showing us 16 miles out. Leveling off at 12,000 feet. Did we get further descent instructions, guys? No, we have not gotten further descent instructions. We're 5,000 feet up. Oh boy, we may be ignored. Alright, I'm going to ignore ATC because they're ignoring us. Oh!
Whiskey descend and maintain 11,000 feet.
Down to 11,000, Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey. This is going to be
Descend and
interesting.
maintain 11,000 feet, Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey.
11,000 feet is the... I was expecting 11,600 at Zugov. Cunha is our next waypoint. Cunha, we need to be at 10,700 feet, but maybe
Cessna
they're
3 Bravo Whiskey contact Salt Lake Center on 12
rounding.
575.
Slow us down even more.
Going to 125.575.
Look at the
Cessna
winds.
3 Bravo Whiskey.
Look at this. Look at the winds coming at us. 35, 36 knots.
343 Bravo Whiskey. Whiskey is
right at us. There's the airport.
300 feet for 11,000 feet.
Wow.
Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey Salt Lake Center. Continue as planned.
Really?
Altimeter tree 0.16.
Wabno's coming up after that. We need to be 8580.
Cessna 3 Bravo Whiskey, you are 12 miles northeast of Kilo Bravo, Charlie Echo.
Okay, now that is what would normally be the tower handoff.
Whiskey.
So we're going to set our altitude selector at minimum 7,900
Cessna
feet
November 343 Bravo Whiskey 11 miles
and
northeast
continue
of
our
RNAV
descent.
runway 21.
All right.
Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo traffic Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey is on final runway 21 to land.
Nice. Okay, we're 10 miles out. Let's go outside, put down the gear. And one more notch of flaps. There's the airport. Nice. Wow, this is really BFE. Look around. Well, this looks cool, but it's just, there's nothing out here. Wow. That is barren. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's slow down to 160. Zoom in on the MFD. Now to 150. Full flaps. 7 miles. Oh, what is this guy? Where the hell did he come from? Oh my God. If he thinks he's landing at Bryce, he's a little high. Jesus. Down to 140. Depressurize at 8,800 feet. That's okay. We do have RNAV data right here. Let's go ahead and activate APPR. Shallow out the descent rate.
Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo traffic Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey 6 miles northeast inbound RNAV runway 21.
3 mile final runway 21. 500.
We're too low.
Autopilot.
Deactivate the auto throttle. Came in too low. Just too low. I said that other guy was too high. Maybe I was too low. Anyway, there's the runway in front of us. We're good now. Re-engage the autopilot. And try to grab that glide path. Should grab the glide path right now. There's the air. We got white and red. We're good on our altitude now. No, I'm not getting it.
Autopilot.
All right, no problem. No problem. Gears down. Full flaps. Got the runway in sight. White and red on our Poppy / Vazzy. 500 AGL. Exit right. Let's see if the airport is correctly upgraded as I paid for. Whether or not I actually succeeded in downloading it or not is a separate issue. White and red still. Seeing fence line we just passed over. That's a good sign. Oof. Dang. Little wobbly.
Kilo Bravo Charlie Echo traffic Cessna November 343 Bravo Whiskey 1 miles east inbound RNAV runway 21.
Oof. Jesus. That was a great announcement he just made. Whew, that was nerve-wracking. Okay. We'll exit right here. This does appear to be the modified scenery. I'm delighted to see this. Come on, make that right, There you go. Awesome! Welcome to Bryce, Utah. This is Bryce Canyon, technically, isn't it? Anyway, that was a wild one. Okay. No, I can get in closer than that. Come on, dude. No? That's as close as you're going to let me get? Okay, fair enough. We'll go outside. Nice. Spoilers. Flaps. That's beautiful. $12 for this airport. Gotta love it. There's a little forklift. All right. Let's turn our taxi lights. Turn off our other lights. Okay. And let's park. Let's announce that we're clear of the runway, just for good measure. 2 airports on the same day with no tower. What am I trying to do to myself? I have no idea where to park. But let's as part of parking, look at this modified scenery. See how it looks. I love that these airplanes are backed in. See these T's? I don't know about you guys. I can't back in. All right, I'm going to stay outside just because I want to try to showcase the scenery. Where in the world should I park? There's a helipad. You can always park on the helipad. Is there a place for large GA like me? There's the helipad. I ought to park there. Okay. Oh, there is. Look. Look. Oh, sweet. I love the scenery. Wow. That looks great. For $12. I'll take it. I'm going to park right here. All right, $12. I could have just gone to the end of the runway, couldn't I have? But then I wouldn't have gotten a chance to see the scenery as much as I have. All right. Looks great. I mean, for $12, can't complain. Gonna make a hell of a U-turn here. Hold on. Woofa, that's gonna be a big U-turn. At least that other, what is that? Is that a, that looks like a citation. Bryce Canyon Airport, awesome. Hold on, I gotta stop, take a picture of that. That's awesome. Nice. I love it. That's awesome. Okay. Playtime zone. Let's park. Boy, it doesn't look like there's much in the way of hotels. All right, we'll park right there on that T. Oh, hey, do we have a airport guy? Oh, we do! Sweet! That's great. I don't think you want me going left, though, pal. I'm looking at the T. There we go. Okay. Okay, good. All right, let's see how we did. That's pretty good. I'll take it. Look at these cute... Look at this little tail dragger. Look at that little tail dragger. Oh, that's sweet. Well, anyway, welcome to Bryce Canyon on our pretty exciting flight. That was pretty dramatic, actually. Kill that right engine. All right, friends. Well, listen. I never did stop that timer, but 46 minutes since we started our takeoff roll. About a 40-minute flight, if I were betting man. Kill those lights, and we'll say goodbye. I don't know if I'm going to stay in Bryce. I don't know. It's getting kind of late. If I can fly out of Bryce or stay in Bryce tonight, I don't know. I'll think about it. Thanks for joining us. We'll drop to the logbook screen, and there we go. 39 minutes from KVEL, Vernal, to KBCE, Bryce. And I like the scenery. I'm happy with it. Looked really cool. I'll put that screenshot of Bryce Canyon Airport on the thumbnail. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Have a good one.